Okay, my battery literally says it only has one more bar left, but I want to see how far I can get with this. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Evan. I created this channel to talk to you about all things OR related, operating room related, nursing related, travel nursing related. I am an operating room nurse that currently is traveling full-time. So I took a poll on Instagram. Oop, I am moving the table. I took a poll on Instagram to see what kind of content you wanted to hear more about, whether it was nursing related or operating room related or travel related, and everyone was like, bitch, I want to hear more about the operating room, like enough of nursing. And I was like, okay. I thought I would give you 10 things no one told me about the operating room before I started that maybe you'd find interesting or helpful. If you haven't already yet, go ahead and find me on Instagram. My name is Operation Evan, like it is in this channel here. I am on there frequently. I even had to convince myself of that. I'm on there frequently. I would love to hear from you guys more. I want to hear what you want to talk about more. What are you interested about? What can I film for you? What can I post for you? So go ahead and find me there, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel here. I upload every Thursday. Leave a comment down below. Like this video if you like it. Like it if you don't like it. It really supports my channel and it helps me out. Let's go ahead and get into it. So 10 things no one warned me about, and probably hasn't warned you about before going into the operating room, because likely no one in nursing school talks about the operating room as if it's not a field of nursing specialty. I digress. Number 1, prepare to smell burning flesh a lot. There's something called, it's not even just one thing. There is a main instrument called a Bovie pencil. It is a cautery machine or instrument. It helps sear whatever's bleeding or open or whatever you need cautery for to make things open or stop bleeding. And it has an odor and smoke that is not good for you. It's a specific smell that no one warns you about. No one warns you that you are going to smell burning flesh all the time. So that's number 1. Just be ready for that. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't burning flesh. 2, I put clean ya damn belly buttons. I will tell you, the nastiest part of the human body, there's a lot of nasty parts of the human body, but one of them is a melted M&M in a large man's belly button, or just like nasty ass sloughed skin. Like, I could put my entire hand in a body cavity and not be grossed out, but if I have to ask for a cryo or a debaki and clean out someone's nasty ass belly button full of shit, not my thing. Not my thing. Be ready for nasty belly buttons, and if you weren't prepared for that and you are going into surgery, or you have a friend or a loved one going into surgery, tell them to pre-clean their belly buttons. Okay. Number 3, you troubleshoot machinery and equipment way more than you ever anticipated doing for this job. When I first started, the first 6 months, I thought, I work for IT. And when I started in the operating room, I thought, I work for IT. I literally am troubleshooting computers, machines, equipment, things that I've never seen in my life, but now I need to fully understand how to troubleshoot when they don't work, and they almost always don't work. So just be prepared for that. I can make a whole other video on what kind of equipment and machinery you see in the OR, but it is nothing like they show you in clinicals. It's nothing like the floor. So just prepare for that, okay? You will see the craziest. Like, if you thought on the floor you heard some crazy shit, like, you hear some crazy shit on the floor, but it's after they've already gone through the operating room. It's after the injury has already occurred. It's after the vague thing that's been stuffed up their colon for a couple days now, but you get to see it firsthand. You get to see that crazy shit firsthand. If you haven't seen my video yet about, what did I even call it? Horror stories of the OR. If you haven't seen my horror stories of the OR, I'll link it here. Go ahead and watch that. That doesn't even encompass half of the things that I've seen so far, and I've only been in this for like 3 years. But you will also hear the saddest stories. Like, you will do cases on pediatrics. You'll do cases on like sweet little 15-year-olds that are just getting their lives started, and you have to do a freaking HIPEC on them. It's just not a good outcome sometimes, and sometimes people die. Like, it's just very tolling, like every other healthcare professional story or career path there are sad aspects to it. And sometimes you experience it right then and there, if that makes any sense. What is this number? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 5. I think this is number 5. Maybe I'm off a number. I think it's number 5. When I started in the OR, people always told me, blame anesthesia. And I always thought like, haha, they're kidding. Very funny. Blame anesthesia. They are also CRNAs, so they are RNs, but they've just specialized and gotten further education in becoming an anesthetist. An anesthesiologist. There we go. They have further education in becoming an anesthesiologist. They are a registered nurse. They are one of us, but blame everything on them. Everyone is just in agreement of like, yeah, it was probably anesthesia's fault. Also, you will be on your feet just as much as you were on the floor. If you think you're going to sit on your ass for 12 hours and not do anything, and the OR is going to be so much easier than you ever experienced on the floor, and like, I hated clinicals, I'm just gonna make it easier on me to go to the OR. Wrong. There is always something to do. You will always be doing something else. It is not the same thing. You will not be going to 7 different patients and passing meds for 12 hours, but you will be doing something on your feet all the time. So it's not easier. Get ready. Thing that blew my mind as soon as I started, you get motherfucking breaks. You get breaks. You get a 30-minute lunch break, you get a 15-minute morning break, you get a 15-minute afternoon break. And depending on what state you are in and what state laws that are applied to nurses, like I'm in California now, and this is not what I was used to in Colorado, but you can get a 30-minute lunch, but then you also get a 30-minute dinner because you've surpassed 8 hours of working. So if you work 12 hours, you get 2 lunches. I deny my second lunch. I just take a 15, 30, 15. But coming from the floor and like inhaling your lunch and express pain as fast as you can in the little times that you had, the thought of having a dedicated and supervised by another RN break, that is a night and day difference. Just to know basically my patients being babysat by someone who is also capable of taking care of them, and I can eat my lunch in peace and not be called. Oh my god, that's what time am I having? I have 10 more minutes. Cool. I am on a freaking roll. No one in nursing school will tell you a thing about the OR because it doesn't always require the knowledge you just spent tens and thousands of dollars on. This is something you will not hear in nursing school. So maybe you'll enjoy this clip when you're graduating and you are like, I like the ICU because I like the ratios, but I still don't like how intensive it is. Or like maybe that's just like not quite your niche. This could be your path. Ask to shadow. You don't need to go through nursing school to shadow in the OR. You can find routes to like get in touch with your local OR and say like, I am a nursing student, I think I'm interested in the OR and I would really love to shadow one day. Some people don't have that kind of time, but it is worth shadowing for a full 12 hours instead of that like 4 to 6 hour shadowing window that honestly is sometimes bullshit because you don't get the full experience. Go ahead and try and do that. Ask your professors about OR and I guarantee I can't guarantee that, but the likelihood of them knowing much about it is it's not that much. At least in my experience, it was not that much. I think this is number 9. Number 9. Learn your prefixes and suffixes. I think that's what it's called, right? The beginnings and endings of surgical terminologies. I think in like one of my Nursing 101 courses entering nursing school, we had one quiz over those parts of terminologies. You can't know every single surgery in the world. You can't. Like, you're constantly learning. But a way that could help you enter the OR is at least learning simple things like ectomies, otomies, like words like that you can piece together. I don't exactly know what this case is going to look like, but it sounds like I'm taking out a gallbladder. So like a cholecystectomy. Wouldn't have assumed chole was gallbladder, but ectomy, I know we're taking some body part out. So, and then you eventually just learn throughout that. Or if you're a beast at just memorizing surgeries, then you do you. Something I had to learn the hard way. I mean, I knew in the operating room things were sterile, but sterility is our world. we check every single pan and filter and wrap and casing and everything. We check to make sure everything is sterile because we don't want our patients to get infections. We don't want them to get surgical site infections. But sterility is our world. And the thing I had to learn the hard way is my spatial awareness. I'm not going to say a petite person, but I'm not a large person. So when I am scooting around tables and helping with opening things, like, you'll learn how to open things sterilely without contaminating, and it takes some practice. And like, don't beat yourself up if you contaminate things. There are more of them. It's fine. But I didn't realize when scooting around tables that your badge can like dangle and hit something, and now that whole corner or that whole instrument is now contaminated. Or my jacket that I had around my waist waved in my turn or whatever in the wind and just touched something, and like, there are so many times I've had a scrub tech like, no, watch out, no, back up, or like they'll physically like pull me out of the way, and it potentially harms the patient if you're not paying attention and no one else is paying attention. That's the accountability portion of it. If you think you contaminated something, speak up. Don't try and like brush it off and hope no one looked. Like, just say like, I think I done fucked up, man. I think we need another one of those. I'm sorry, I'll go get it for you. I think maybe this is gonna be more than 10 things, but I'll keep going. I don't care. So OR ears. When you get there, if you do end up working in the operating room, there is something called OR ears. And it means that there are so many noises around you. If you thought that the floor had annoying noises of like Alaris pumps or whatever kind of pumps you have, and like people talking and the hustle and bustle, blah, 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 blah. There are so many freaking noises in the OR. And the surgeon or your scrub that's 5 feet away from you says, hey, need another bovie. You're not gonna hear that over the music and the bovie and all the other noises. You're just simply not going to hear it for the longest time, and your OR ears will kick in, and it is amazing. It's frustrating at first, but it's amazing because you'll work with surgeons or just like peers that have different accents than you, and they have different dialects and tones and mumbles and volumes and stuff like that, and you can literally hear just anything. You can hear across a football field and you'll be like, I know exactly what they said, already going to get it. 2 more things. Okay, everything packaging wise is the same color. I don't care what hospital carries what color, it's all the same fucking color. I shouldn't curse as much. It's all the same freaking color. Everything is like blue or a shade of blue, or it's white or gray, but it's all the same shade. And it's called by 13 different names. It's up to you to know how all those names relate together. Same goes with instrumentation. There's like 3 different names for one thing. You'll eventually learn it, but no one warned me of all of the packaging that I had never experienced on the floor before. I'm not in charge of IVs anymore. I'm not in charge of lines. I'm not in charge of any of that shit. Medications to the minimum compared to what we were used to, or what I was used to. There are so many other supplies out there that I never knew of, and so they'd say like, go get a trocar, and I'm like, what the fuck is a trocar? It's the thing that goes in the sleeve for the this and the port and the I have no idea what you're talking about. So be warned. In addition to the surgical terminology, there are terms and names for everything else. Lastly, I had a good conversation with someone on my Instagram about this who is just starting in San Antonio in the operating room as a new grad, I think. But she was like, no one talked to me about call. And I was like, that's a big part of the OR. That's something that I wasn't used to from the floor. Like, yes, we get breaks, and yes, it can still be 3 days a week, but you pick up call. And depending on what kind of team you're on within the operating room, you have call. And that means you're on standby. So you work your part-time or full-time hours. In addition to that, you have to pick up X amount of days or hours of being on standby. And sometimes that pay on standby means $3, sometimes it means $8, sometimes it means $15. It just depends on your region, it depends on your hospital, but definitely ask about that in your interview. And being on call, being on standby, you can't drink, you can't be far from your vehicle or from the hospital. I think you have to be within a certain range of the hospital or facility or whatever. And if you do get called in, it's usually time and a half because you've met your full-time hours. So when you get called in, it's time and a half. So some people love call. They will pick up everyone's call, and it's a great way to save up if you have a vacation coming up or a big expense or something to pay off or whatever. It's a great way to pick it up because I guarantee you it's a 50-50 split of people who hate call, don't want it, will get rid of it within a second, and the other half are like, I'll take your free money. Especially if you don't get called in, then you get an extra, I don't know, I think it was like $5 an hour at my other place. So it was like extra $60 to just hope I didn't get called in. But it also meant I was limited for the day. I can't go hiking an hour away because I never know if I'm gonna get called in. So yeah, those are the things I had to learn, or those are the things that no one told me about for the operating room. If this has helped you, if this is interesting to you, if there are more things that I didn't touch on or less things or whatever, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Find me on Instagram. Tell me what more you want to hear of. I have loads of ideas. They are coming out, I promise. I will talk to you guys next Thursday, and I need to come up with a better ending. Bye.